What am I talking about?
Your sister's going to jail. Have a little compassion.
Kim, would you stop taking pictures of yourself? Your sister's going to jail.
Sensitivity, a misunderstood and underrated quality. Let's get started on why this trait of character has been forgotten. Kind of forgotten, because forgotten isn't really the exact word, but whatever. And I'll start with me. So I cry a lot. Like, I think I've cried enough to fill all 7 oceans if they were ever to dry up. And since I've been young, what we call a crybaby. I don't give a fuck, okay? I don't give a fuck that I'm a crybaby. Melody Martinez fan here. Like, I stand her. And I cry for everything. Like, if I'm sad, if I'm hurt, if I'm angry, hell, even when I'm happy, I cry of happiness. It's the funniest shit. And for the longest time that I can remember, I've always tried to get rid of this part of me. My mother always used to tell me stuff like, La mujer llorona, puta o ladrona. Easily translated to women who cry are either sluts or thief. Baby, I'm both, so you're in trouble. No, I'm just kidding. Or not, I don't know. So I cry so much because I tend to feel things deeply. At some point, I was worried because I was feeling every feeling like time 1,000. But throughout all that, I noticed that the fact that I was so sensitive made me more aware of people's struggles and capable of helping those people. I would like to say that the fact that I felt everything all the time made my compassion, my empathy, and my sympathy for others even bigger. Because I knew how it felt on me, so of course I was going to help someone else, you know? And I also noticed that being sensitive or having sensibility meant to be more vulnerable, which is kind of hard nowadays to be vulnerable. It's as if as a society we just are scared of that, which is understandable. But I was being more vulnerable towards others and with myself. And this is something that I honestly believe society has mixed emotions with. So let's start with what is being sensitive. So according to the dictionary of beautiful Cambridge, first thing that pops is a lot of negative things. I'm not gonna lie, this kind of stings a little bit. Here you go, my sensitivity, right? But that's beside the point. I mean, that's the definition. What can I do? What is important to notice, though, is that officially it is associated with negative things according to the values of our society. Like most definitions that I found on the internet, on dictionaries, were all kind of the same, which that's how a dictionary works. But at the end of the day, I really think that being weak or fragile are different traits that can be, yes, linked with sensitivity, but are ultimately independent of it. Now, I just want us to pay attention to one of the definitions of the same dictionary in which it is described as being helpful and kind to others. So I'm kind of happy that is still there, even though it's not the first one that pops up. But it's still there, because it is important to acknowledge the fact that sensitive people are usually more empathic and kind to others. However, this being good is also something that we have lost as a society. And this dog-eat-dog world, aka capitalist system filled with influencers, fame, money, celebrity, social media, but overall trust issues so deep, we have made a point in putting this aside, always putting a mask to not show our sensitivity towards others, except when it comes to ourselves. A question for the culture. Since when did it become the norm to not show that we are vulnerable and kind? I mean, I know this is a very stupid question. Since we're children, we're told to not trust other people because this world is filled with bad people. But I think the problem doesn't start just there. The main problem is femininity and sensitivity. And I don't want to turn this into a feminist manifest, but honestly, I have to go there because humankind woke up one day and chose violence against women. So I think the main problem with being vulnerable is that sensitivity is often attributed to femininity, which it just infuriates me, but oh, whatever. A trait of character shouldn't be gendered, but what do you want? Society is like that. So this woman wrote in this website about how as a society we have gendered traits, and I'm 100% agreeing with her because that's what we have done. We have given femininity and masculinity some traits of characters. For example, if we read this, I'm gonna read with you because I know nobody's gonna read this, what I just put as a screenshot. But traits that are considered masculine are being dominant, strong, independent, assertive, brave, innovative. Now, for some traits that are considered feminine are emotional, collaborative, nurturing, vulnerable, caring, humble. Why do we do this? I don't know. But then, like, let's look more into it, because this doesn't just happen like this. Society grooms us to be kind of like this. I mean, if we just look around, men will brag because they don't cry. And we teach women since their childhood that we have to be caring, we have to be nurturing. And it's like men are exempt of having empathy or be caring or have emotions. And we applaud men when they show basic behavior like being sensitive to others or care for others. Like, girls, our standards are so low for men, and that's because we have decided to gender traits. So we have gendered traits of characters. But what happens after this has happened? Because at first sight you're like, yeah, cool, we've done that and we've survived as a society. And we have. The problem is that femininity is not respected, or at least the traits of character that have been attributed to it. So how does this impact our world, our people, our women and men of this society? Since it's easier, or let's say more respectable, to navigate with typically masculine traits, women and men have been internalizing traits of characters that are usually more masculine. Therefore, if, let's say, a man was just born and he was caring and he was emotional and he goes into society, he'll probably get a lot of criticism for being like that. I mean, if a guy cries, you're gonna be like, stop being so sensitive. Why do we do this? And so, in order to get places, we have to be like society views masculinity. And that's just to be respected. But the moment that we put aside the feminine traits, we have to become impervious to bullets, because we cannot be vulnerable or caring, because that means that we have to care. I know it's very dumb, but it means that we have to care and that we have to, and we're easily hurt, because that's being sensitive means that you're more easy to hurt. But sometimes losing that, it's bad. And let me just give me an example of like how this is happening in society, how people are just putting aside the traits that make, or the traits are attributed to women. So for example, we have the pick me girl. We also have the memes with, they're literally not funny because we end up noticing that we're all the same. And it's usually something that is just like normal. But we want so bad, even us girls, this is so sad, we don't want to be like girls. We don't want to be linked to being feminine. And that is seriously effed up. Now let's talk about something that has nothing to do with genders and traits. So basically, right now in this modern society, we are individualist. And what has this done for us? Since individualism has been growing and has been increasing in Western society, we have like a restricted vision of the impact that we have to the world in this society, and we are more interested in ourselves and what is good for us, and less on how we impact society. Yet we still impact society. So since we're not really caring about what other people need, we tend to be less sensitive about what they need, and we're just looking for what is good for us. So we forget to care about the others, or even like kind of trust other people, because we're like, nobody's looking for anything else than their own good. Because I think we're aware of this. We're aware that everybody is looking for themselves, that you have to look for yourself, that you're doing this only for yourself, not for anybody else. And this creates a cycle, because if everybody's like this, why should you be different if nobody's going to be sensitive towards you? Let's conclude this point. Let's conclude this second point. So basically what I said is just that, first, traits of characters are being gendered. Traits that are more feminine are not respected, and women and men will internalize traits that are more masculine to be successful. And on top of that, we have a society that is very individualist. How are we gonna get out of this? I don't know. We have to be very smart and take control of ourselves. So now I'm gonna do like another little point that I don't know how to call it because it's like very little. I have no support or research for this. This is just my opinion. So why do we have mixed emotion as a society about this, or why do I think that we have mixed emotions? In the last decade, groups like BLM, LGBTQ, and feminism have been increasing and have been taking importance. And I think what they're asking is for people to be more sensitive about the struggles of others. So basically, we're asking people to be more sensitive and to be aware that, like, it's not just all about ourselves. But on the other side, we have a lot of people who say that we're becoming snowflakes, that we're becoming less strong than before, that we are just being weak because we want to care about like other people, which is, I don't know why. I've seen a lot of, like, at least in my social media that I see or that I choose to see, a lot of girls who are talking about how it's okay to be feminine and it's okay to accept the feminine traits, how it should be viewed and why society needed. In my opinion, being sensitive to others makes you more approachable. Just think about it. We all love the mama of the group. We all love the girl who's gonna take her hair up when we're puking or stop us from texting our freaking ex. Don't text your ex. It's bad. Just cut him off. No, men are dicks. And even our own mothers. Why do we love so much our mothers? Why do we like go to them when we feel bad? It's because they're sensitive and they're gonna be kind and gonna help us, and they see and they're aware of our emotions even more because sensitive people tend to be like that. Sensitivity is not a synonym of weakness. Like, as a matter of fact, being sensitive makes you stronger. It can make you kinder. And just being vulnerable, it takes guts. Talking from experience. But it also makes you have deeper connections with people. Yes, you're gonna get hurt sometimes, but that's just life. Like, even if you're not sensitive, you're gonna get hurt, And let's just face it, we're all sensitive. There's always gonna be something that's gonna hurt us. So why not just be able to embrace it and be like, yeah, okay, let's move on, And that's okay, that's me. Our society desperately needs more people who are sensitive, particularly in position of power. Let me just put the main example that I love and that I found in this article, like, just to support this. Sensitive people aren't weak. They're actually natural born leaders. And I read this, and yes, this makes so much sense if you think about it. Basically, what the article says is that leaders who are more sensitive tend to be more likable because they listen to what their society has to say. And if we just take the main example, like Trump versus Obama, why do we hate Trump so much? Because he's unsensitive. He doesn't care about people. He's just looking for his own self, what is good in his opinion, not what society needs. Obama, why do we love him? I said I wasn't going to talk about politics, but Obama probably did some shit, some sketchy shit. But why is he so loved? It's because he was sensitive. He made Obamacare. Like, how more sensitive can you be to your people? He literally gave people healthcare when they needed it. Because he listened. Because he was kind. Because he was being sensitive. And last but not least, okay, I'm gonna just start by saying, so basically, you're being called sensitive when usually people like see you crying, or like someone says something to you, or someone jokes about you and like it hurts you and you're like, don't say that. And people make fun and say you can't take a joke. But like, why is it normal to make jokes at the expense of someone else and expect them to not take offense or not be quote unquote sensitive? No one knows what each of us is going through, and literally this is how insecurities can be planted in us. I'm not saying don't make jokes, but you can be funny without laughing at someone else. Being able to be sensitive is like about also putting boundaries. So showing that something hurts you and you say, that hurts me, dude, stop doing that. It's putting boundaries, and you're being strong for putting boundaries. We need boundaries. People who don't have boundaries, and I was one of those people, it's not good. We're just letting yourself being walked over. Fourth point. There is such a thing as hypersensitivity. And that's not good either. Like Mr. Rousseau Jean-Jacques Rousseau said once. Basically, that we have to find a balance when we have virtues. So basically, virtues are like qualities or trait of characters. We cannot be too sensitive or not sensitive enough. You just have to find a balance. In conclusion, I think this is why we all need it. And just remember that being sensitive doesn't mean that you're weak or fragile. Like, narcissists are fucking sensitive, but they're fucking mean to other people too. Should I be saying fuck? Does YouTube allow people to say fuck? So yeah, this was my video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to listen more. The next subject that I'm gonna research, it's either To All the Boys I've Loved, I want to do an analysis on it, or either talk about how we're afraid of body hair as a society. We are so effed up as a society. This is incredible. If you have any topics, if you want to hate on me, go ahead. Enjoy yourself. Don't forget to be sensitive and have a nice day.